On the pole, the brand new track record is Ken Schrader. That is he in the black number 29. Gary Bettenhausen is alongside. In the second row, California's Brent Kading and Jeff Gordon, now living in Indiana. In row 3, from the World of Outlaws, Dave Blaney and pavement specialist Bob Fry. Steve Butler and Dave Feast are side by side behind them. Mark Alderson and Mike Bliss from the Pacific Northwest. And in row 6, Wally Pankratz and Eric Gordon. In the 7th row, George Snyder and Andy Hillenberg, that's Indiana's Hillenberg. Leland McSpadden and Walt Kennedy from Southern California. Wayne Hammond from Florida and Darrell Hall. In the 10th row, Danny Milburn and Rich Vogler. In row number 11, side by side, Tony Elliott and Chuck Gurney, last year's champion of these cars. Then comes Jimmy Sills and Greg Stobbs from the Cincinnati area. Bob Staccone from out east and Ronnie Dunstan, also from out east. Gary Griffin, Ohio, and Davey Hamilton from Idaho. In the 16th row is Frank McDaniel and Bob Davison. Kenny Schrader sees the green flag, drops the accelerator, but Gary Bettenhausen on the outside beats him into turn number 1.
Yeah, Schrader's on the pole, but he's complaining about low horsepower all day. And there's a shot of Wally got bumped. You know, that's unnerving. When you come into the first turn, you're not sure about your car, and you get bumped in the rear end. You think, whoa, I'm not going fast enough.
There is Bettenhausen in the white and orange car, and the bright orange car running in second position is Jeff Gordon.
We expected him to run good. You know, it depends upon if he can run all day long, 50 miles that fast.
His inexperience is likely to tell on this track. It's very tricky for the Silver Crown cars. Pavement racing for cars designed to run on dirt.
It's difficult, but these cars are basically set up to run on pavement. You got to ride with Wally here. You can hear him come off the throttle. There's another race going on right there, the 56 car. That's Wally.
That's Gary Gordon right up in front of him in another white car, passing on the outside, number 81.
On the outside, it's a good place to pass here in turn 3 because you're up on the bank a little better, and the car seems to stick good up there.
Bettenhausen continues to run up front, and Jeff Gordon continues to pressure. That is Jeff, and Jeff a little bit out of shape, and that will punish his tires later in this race.
It is, and there's two different styles. The old master running smooth and straight, and there's a young Charger really standing on the gas and using the car 100% all its work.
In the black car, that Schrader, remember how spectacularly he has performed at Daytona for the past 2 seasons. And in the yellow car is Bob Fry, the pavement specialist from right here in Phoenix, Arizona. Today's Copper Classic is being brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is 1 cup motor oil. And by Busch, the beer with the taste as smooth as its name. You're riding with Californian Wally Pankratz. We'll be back after these words. 10 different states are represented in today's 30-car starting field for the USAC Silver Crown cars, and 4 competitors are really having a go at it up front for the lead.
And now they're counting up the traffic. It makes a lot of sense. The guys that run more often should do better, but look at this. Gary's down the inside.
Gordon almost loses control going into turn number 1. He drops from 2nd to 4th position.
They're hard to make back up, especially in lap traffic, but I was surprised he took the high road. He runs enough midget races, you'd think he'd stay down low.
Well, we're seeing a big change in the characteristic of these championship dirt cars running on this pavement. They appear to be very solid on this track in years past, and this year they're darting and diving like midgets running on a quarter mile.
Look at Gary's right front tire. It's got a ring around it. And in that last corner, he pushed real hard and allowed Schrader to catch him. I think Gary's going to push the right. There he is. He just pushes up, slows down, and Schrader's going to go right on by.
Now that ring that Steve referred to as Gary Bettenhausen uses lap traffic to hold on to his lead, it's very subtle, and you have to look very carefully to see it. And you'll see it just on the outside of Gary's right front tire as we go inside the cage cam mounted car of Wally Pankratz.
We'll see how his car's operating here. He gets in the corner pretty good. He's coming back off it. Maybe just a little bit loose, but not bad. Now, that could cause a tire to blister, or it could be caused by a tire blistering.
The leaders again, Bettenhausen, originally out of Illinois, now living in the state of Indiana. Ken Schrader living in the southeast now because of all of his stock car racing, originally from Missouri. And there is Bob Fry. He, too, is a transplanted driver from Elyria, Ohio, now living in Phoenix.
And now you can see that ring real good on Gary's tire. Now, he's slow in the middle of the corner.
Schrader almost loses it, but he gets a big bite in that high side.
Yeah, he cooked it in, and he had enough speed across the middle of the corner that he got by Gary.
And here comes Jeff Gordon on the outside, getting around Fry.
These guys are all using their tires too hard. Look at that push on Gary's car. They're all using their tires too hard. They are not going to last all day long.
Well, Jeff Gordon is definitely the wild card, the unknown commodity. Remember, he lost a couple of 100 yards just a couple of laps ago through lap traffic, and look how quickly he has caught back up with the leaders.
Yeah, and you look how Fry's right with him. Now, he's got a V6 Chevy car. It's not quite as hard on the tires because it has less weight and less horsepower. There's Butler in, changing a right rear tire. Now, there again, we're talking about using the tires too hard and blistering tires early in the race.
Tires are a major, major factor on these cars in this race. There is Gordon looking to the inside of Schrader, but there's not quite enough room this time. Jeff Gordon is getting a terrific drive coming out of turn number 2. That is the place in the track as we go back down pit side and look at Butler, where Gordon's car is the best coming out of the second corner.
It sure looks that way. Gordon is really driving the car hard. Now, they're changing the left rear on this car. So they had to stop and change the right rear tire. If it wasn't just right in the handling, they'll change the left rear also and maybe change the stagger and make it feel better to him.
Steve Butler, who was the 1988 national champion, now back in the track. There is Gordon once again looking inside of Schrader. And there is that dog leg. And this time, Gordon gets a little bigger thrust going into turn 3.
He really was gassing it down the straight through the inside of the dog leg. And he just had a good enough run that he got by him on the inside.
Well, this is not a sprint race. We will go 50 laps or 50 miles, so you really have to consider the endurance, not only of the driver, but the race car. And Wally Pankratz is pulling.
Wally must have tire trouble, too. The engine's running good. I can't see any problem. He must just have a blistered tire.
And look at the leaders. We've had a lead change. Ken Schrader now finds himself in front, and the front 3 cars are in heavy traffic.
Traffic makes it. Look at the front tires on Jeff's car. He has too much front brake on the tires, and they're hopping like crazy getting in the corner, and that really upset the car.
Also, we're seeing puffs of smoke now out of Bob Fry's car. He is running 3rd in the race. Now, Gary Lee is standing by near Pankratz. Let's see if we can find out what his problem is.
Wally Pankratz in the camera car. The Genesis Spearwagon number 56. Again, it's a tire change, so a number of these crews have miscalculated on exactly what right rear tire they needed for this Phoenix mile. It may be the temperature, it may be the weather conditions. It's not as warm as it was yesterday. That could predicate exactly what tire compound they used. They may have just simply misguessed it.
And unlike an Indianapolis car or Winston Cup racing, you cannot stop at one of these events and have a chance of winning.
No, you really can't. You stop one, and you're out of the race for winning.
This is the tussle for second place. That is 18-year-old Jeff Gordon sliding high into turn number 1 and Fry slips underneath. The veteran pavement racer pressured the youngster, and when Jeff gave him just enough room, Fry slipped underneath. But look at Jeff. He is really fast today.
Jeff's not going to give anything up. See, if he's overusing his tires, he's going to have tire trouble later, I guarantee. But Fry, on the other hand, he's like Bettenhouse. He's smooth as glass.
You know, this is an interesting situation because not only has Jeff Gordon never driven one of these cars, but he's never driven on this track in this car. Here is 7th and 8th place, Mark Alderson and Bob Ciccone. The story about Ciccone, they're passing on the inside. Remember, that's a fight for 7th. He started in the back because he had to qualify for this race through a non-qualifiers event yesterday.
And he's running well. He's coming up through the pack. But there again, he is always running good on pavement. It's good pavement racing.
Ciccone started in 25th position. His qualifying speed was down to about 122 mile per hour average speed. And this Ben Hoosier Tire Jackstack car is running well. Here's Walt Kennedy, the Southern Californian. He has come to a stop on the inside of turn number 4, sure to bring out, there it is, yes, the yellow flag. And here at Phoenix, we have a terrific race going on for the win. The first 4 positions have traded repeatedly on this very quick 1-mile paved oval. Here are the leaders after about 1/3 of this high-speed 50-mile argument. Ken Schrader is the leader of the race. Bob Fry, the pavement specialist, runs in second in the yellow, number 20. Jeff Gordon is in third in car number 35, and it's a challenging position. The veteran Gary Bettenhausen is fourth, and Northern California Brett Kading rests in fifth.
If they ever gave an award for the most original driving suit, I like that. Bib overalls in a race car. You're not a happy guy right now. What put you out?
Well, we had a bearing problem with a input shaft, and it vibrated so bad. The bell housings fell off the motor plate. I wanted to keep these 2 feet for next week, so we'll wait till the next time.
Now, sometimes it's better to be smart than brave.
Yeah, getting a little older. About 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have kept on going, probably been crippled.
He's very, very fortunate that when it did come loose, it didn't spin and break both his legs or crush them at least. Very smart to pull in, and I'm surprised he didn't get injured at all.
Now, this is up front, that white car with the red trim, number 56, that is Wally Pancratz. Our camera car, he has just passed race leader Ken Schrader. But remember, Pancratz has fresher tires.
I said he'd be spectacular on fresh tires, and they've had 3 or 4 chances, or 2 chances, pardon me, to get the stagger just right.
And poor old Jeff Gordon, man, he has been fighting with people all race long. Now he has Dave Feast and George Snyder who are trying to wrestle that 5th position away from him.
And they will make it.
Uh-oh, we've got trouble on the front stretch. That is Floridian Wayne Hammond. He has got upside down here on the mile on the front stretch right in front of the main grandstand. Now, it was a spectacular crash, although the car, the integrity of it, Steve, stayed together. So if Wayne was able to stay down inside that thing, he is probably not injured seriously.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that they hit real hard because they're traveling at over 120 miles an hour, and it bounces hard.
Well, let's take another look at this. Now, you see the incident has already begun. Wayne gets out of shape, hits the inside wall, and it just jets the car back into the middle of the track.
I think the 85 car might have just gotten into him a little bit because you don't lose it on the straightaway for no reason like that. And, you know, it's hard to say really what happened, but it looked like the 85 car got a piece of him.
And there is Wayne Hammond walking. It's not a jaunty walk, but at least he's under his own power. Lou only getting out of bed to come out for practice and racing this weekend. He couldn't even attend the pre-race parties the night before the last 2 nights.
It was a great race for the lead. Fry's a little wiggly there. He might have some brake problems, but I think he's going to have a hard time getting by Schrader because Schrader has a pretty good engine in his car. It runs good in the straight.
Just 2.5 laps to go. Now, each of these people have won 4 previous Copper events. So the bragging rights for the all-time winningest driver in the Copper Classic is up for grabs. There's 3rd place, Bob Ciccone in that black, purple, and red trim, number 3.
And here comes George Snyder. After a tire change, he looks though he's really fast. We'll see what ends at the end of the race here, see where he ends up.
And, of course, the white car just out of camera range on the right, that is Jeff Gordon. He is struggling to hold on to 5th place, but here is one of the 2 outstanding battles on the track. Ciccone from the East Coast, from Pennsylvania, and George Snyder from Bakersfield, California. White flag coming up.
Jordan's looking for a way around. He's looking for the inside. Now, if he can just get a little bit of room, his car is really working good. He should be able to get by.
Oh, and getting very high. Going into turn number 1 is Schneider. There is 1st and 2nd, Schrader and Bob Fry. And Bob Fry is seeing his chance for victory slip away. Ken Schrader is doing what he does so often in these races. He drives a nearly perfect race.
George is standing up in the seat, we call it. He is really gassing. He's a little bit faster, but can't find his way.
Checkered flag for Ken Schrader and Louis Seymour, and crew and sons celebrate yet another victory by this amazing race driver, Ken Schrader. He wins again.
Kenny Schrader in this particular ride goes 5 out of 7, and he fell out of the other 2 while leading. Kenny, congratulations.
Well, I'll tell you what, it felt awful good. Man, I knew the world was right on us on that restart, but we went to a little different tire, and it held up for 3 laps. I wouldn't have wanted to run 4.
You went real soft.
We went pretty soft. We was about as soft as they made. It's the same tire we qualified on, and he picked up a pretty good push the last turn. I got worried somebody's going to get underneath us.
Well, let's talk about earlier in the race. You did not have the domination of this event that I've seen in the past.
Maybe Louis needs to answer that. Everybody else keeps getting bigger and better engines, and ours just keeps getting more worn out.
Well, maybe you could take some of this prize money and put that toward a new engine.
We're strongly going to talk about that tonight, I guarantee you.
All right, Kenny Schrader in victory lane for the 5th time here at Phoenix.
And at this track, the Silver Crown cars have run only 3 times in history, and Ken Schrader and Louis Seymour have won them all. There is Bob Fry, who finished 2nd in this race. Bob Ciccone, after a great drive, nets 3rd, and George Snyder holds on. An exciting last lap for 4th, and Jeff Gordon talking about holding on. This man was on the edge of the cliff all day long. Dave Feast, great race in 6th. Indiana's Andy Hillenberg comes home a well-deserved 7th. Mike Bliss is 8th. Eric Gordon will be 9th, and Indiana's Danny Milborn is in 10th position at the end of this year's Copper Classic.